Hi, I'm Sandy Genovese, and in honor of Halloween, I thought it'd be fun to show how to make this fun little candy corn box. Now, it's held shut with ribbon, and I've tied the ribbon into a bow so that when I just untie the bow, and then let me get in here and open up the knot from the bow, and you can see it's just a cool little box that is perfect for holding all kinds of candy corn, but also any other little Halloween goodies that you might have put inside. You could put other candy, but you could also put small little trinkets that are Halloween themed. I know I have little Pez containers that I'm giving to my niece's little girls that are going to go inside. This box is an Ellison die. And I would never share this with you if you had to have this die in order to make this work. I discovered if you have the box die or you want to get the box die, great, I'll put a link to it. But it is not difficult to do. Here is, if you cut out with the box pattern or with the die, you get this. And then the perforations exist and the holes are already punched on the die so that you fold on all of these places. We're going to get to how to do that, but if you don't have that, let's look at how to create this basic pattern shape. What you want to do is you want to start with the square in the center, and the one that I'm doing today is a 3.5-inch square. So here you can see I have a 3.5-inch square. The triangles need to be 3.5 inches on the bottom, and then the sides depend on how big a paper you're going to use and how big a box you want to be on your finished, your completed candy corn box. So basically you're going to cut out all 4 triangles so that they have a 3.5-inch base, and the height is based on what works best for you. Then go ahead, and I just use tape to attach it to the square, but the square that I started with needs to be segmented. I've used a white pin to show that you're going to go from corner to corner on the diagonal in order to create an X. That is going to help when it's time to create the flaps. If you look here, we need to look at how to create these little flap areas. What you do is go ahead and lay this down on a piece. This just happens to be 12 by 12 scrapbook cardstock, and you're going to trace around the pattern that you've created so far with the square and the triangles that are attached together. To get these flaps, I've already started on the flip side, so let me show you. What you want to do is lay this down, and this is why it was important to draw with the white pin that I did. You want that X that goes on the diagonal of that first square, because using that as a guide, you want to come 1 5/8 inches out on all of the 4 tips of that square. So when you come out 1 5/8 inches and stop, now I'm going to go back with my ruler and with a pencil, and I'm going to attach the tip of one side of the box to that dotted line that's 1 5/8 inches. And I'm going to do the same thing and attach this to the other side. And you can see that's going to give you that flap. I'm not going to stop and do all of them, but you would work your way all the way around the box pattern so that you go from this flap to the tip all the way around, and what it's going to give you is exactly what you need. It's going to give you this. Once you have the pattern, you want to go back and with an 1/8 inch hole punch, just punch a little hole in the tip, the top of each of the triangles. That'll be the top of the square. And then with your scoring tool, score on all of these inside interior lines, and the folding happens. What you want to do is you want a valley fold all around the edges of this original square. So I'm going to fold valley, valley on each of these sides of the box. The same is true for all of the triangle sides. They're also valleys. So I'm going to fold here, I'm going to fold here, do the same thing on all 4 sides. The only place that's a mountain fold are these little wings on the flap. That, remember that 1 5/8 inch extensions that we put. Those are mountain folds. So when you have those folded, now go back, and if you pull all of these flaps together, look at how they pull together and they just become this very cool, very easy. It's a pyramid box, but it's the perfect shape for making candy corn. So at this point, if it was already decorated, I would thread ribbon through the holes, and then all I have to do is tie the bow. It's easiest to decorate it while it's flat. So I'm going to open it back up. You can see this is going to be the inside of the box. So I'm going to open it and I'm going to flip it over. If you look back at my box, I thought I would be kind of clever, and my decoration I wrapped around inside. It's kind of unnecessary, and it's even a little bulky when you try to close the whole thing up. So I think it's easier and actually even better looking to just decorate the triangles, the part of the box. So what you want to do is take, and you're going to just place this down and trim it so that it mirrors the shape of the triangle. I've gone ahead and I've done a few of them. If you look at a piece of candy corn, you'll see that the bottom strip is yellow. So I'm going to put adhesive on the back of the strip that I cut out for yellow. And yours can be whatever you want. You can see how all I've done is I've just mirrored my triangles. And if you want to know I know you're going to want to know the measurements, aren't you? Let me just tell you. The yellow is 1.5 inches wide. The orange is 2 inches wide. So now I'm going to go back, and I chose those dimensions because it closely looked like the proportion on a piece of real candy corn. Could be that they're all different, and if I had a different box of candy corn, it would be different, but that was what matched my box of candy corn. I did the same thing with the orange. I just cut a strip and I cut chunks of it, but I angled so that I match. And then the pyramid shape or the triangle, and then the white, I'm leaving white. So you can see how I've done that. You're going to continue to decorate all 4 corners. And when you've done all the sides, I won't stop to actually do it. But when you can see how, when I pull this together, look how it's going to create that really cool candy corn look. Super simple. Then all you need to do is thread the ribbon through, like you can see that I've done here. If I do this, let me turn this so you can see easily. Nothing tricky about it, just threaded all the way around and then tied shut. Now what I decided that I'm going to put inside this little guy, I'm going to put, I'll bring this over and show you, this little baby candy corn. I discovered once again that it's not difficult to make. This is a pyramid that has a triangle base. And this is not difficult either. I'm going to put a few pieces of candy corn in here, and I'm going to drop this inside the box. So there'll be a little candy corn box inside the larger candy corn box. If you want to make this little baby guy, he's not difficult either. Depending on whatever size triangle you want, you start with an equilateral triangle, so all the 3 sides are the same dimension, and trace around 3 of them in this pattern, this configuration, and then add, let me pull this off because it's probably easier for you if this isn't on here yet. So trace the 3 together down here, add 1 at the top, and then add just little tabs or flaps on these edges. And then all I'm going to do, once again, it's easiest to decorate this while it's flat. So you would go ahead, I barely put any adhesive on there, but it's enough for you to kind of get the idea. I'm going to trim off the excess. Do the same thing with the orange. It's going this direction. And in order to see where to cut it, I'm going to go ahead and fold my tab out of the way just so I can see. Because like I said, I think it works better if you don't fold around the edge. I think it's just a better, cleaner look. So you can see how you're going to decorate all the edges. Then go ahead and fold around all your triangle edges, all your triangle that you started with, and then place adhesive. And what I did was I put adhesive on this one side tab and fasten these two together. You can get your hand in there and press. Imagine that, of course, you've decorated all the triangles. This is the side that I'm going to leave open until the end. I'm going to put the candy corn inside. Then I'll go ahead and I'll put adhesive on these two edges. In fact, let me do it on the one that's all decorated. So these two edges are still virgin. They don't have any adhesive on them yet. I'm going to put my adhesive on both. I'm going to pretend like I've got my candy corn inside, and this is going to be kind of a one-time use. It's not going to be able to open and close repeatedly. So I'm going to close it up and press on these edges so that it will stay shut. And I know that Addison and Quincy are going to have a fun time figuring out even how to open this to get to the candy corn. You know, these boxes, they may look like candy corn, but they will hold all kinds of Halloween treats.